Hello and welcome to Croissants, our morning daily podcast here live from the Paris Olympics. I'm joined by my two very special guests, Audrey, a DCM,
Hello,
former
Vanessa.
national French team member. Hello.
How are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for being here. And Simon Fairweather, Sydney gold medalist. Thank you so much for joining me again.
Great to be here again.
So we're really getting into it now. We've had 2 days of individual eliminations, and they're long days, right? Yesterday we started from like 9 a.m. and went until like 8:30 p.m. That's almost 12 hours.
Felt like 12 days, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a really long day, but I think yesterday it cut, no?
It did.
Maybe at 6 p.m. because of the storm.
Lightning storm coming in, yeah.
But there wasn't any storm finally, but...
That's right. It's the one thing, isn't it, that in archery that the
Yeah.
proceedings are stopped for. If there's any chance of lightning, because everybody's holding conductive materials, carbon bows and aluminium bits, they stop it. And also, you've got 8,000 people sitting in an aluminium stadium.
Yes, you're right.
So they had to
You're
clear
right.
that
You're right.
before the storm. Ironically, the storm didn't happen last
No.
night.
No.
I woke up, I was awake at about 5 a.m. this morning, and that's when the storm came through. There was lightning and rain and so on. I thought, we've got such a big schedule today. And I thought, what are they going to do if today is held up with
Yes,
lightning
you're
too?
right.
But
Yeah.
blue skies now, it's all gone. So I think we're okay.
Nice. What happens to an archer when they're, ready to go? They've like psyched themselves up. Now is my time. I'm taking the stage for the first time for my first match at the Olympics. And then it's a rain delay.
I really don't know. It's like never happening, no, this kind of thing that you have to stop and no shooting.
Yeah.
It's something really unusual. Sometimes it happens, but, for example, I remember a European Championship in Antalya. The rain was really so strong with a lot of wind, and everyone had to stop. So it's like for everyone in the field, it was like maybe only 8 archers. Yesterday they were like, okay, now my time to shine.
Exactly.
I think it's
that's
frustrating. I think it's frustrating, but sometimes it can be also a chance for someone to have more hours to train.
Yeah,
Sure.
but not
Before.
only are they delayed from yesterday to today, but they're at the end of today's schedule. So
Yeah.
they're at the very last to shoot today.
Really big day, long
Yeah.
day today for you.
So it's a lot of mental energy that goes into shooting a match. The only thing that I can think of is at least they're shooting against their opponent, and the opponent is in the same,
Had the same
situation.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
you're right. I heard yesterday that because yesterday night we didn't know that today it will be at the end of the day. We was wondering when, and I heard also that if there are like difficult conditions also today, maybe it could be possible that everyone can shoot in the qualification venue. Everyone in the same time, because we will we
Yeah,
have to
to
shoot the
catch up
mixed
to-
team
yeah.
tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
So
True.
there are like many ways to go. So
I wonder if it would affect any archer that is shooting in the mixed team, because there's so much mental energy that's going into this. Do you think that might be a disadvantage?
maybe the one who are shooting late tonight, and maybe they are shooting
Early on the-
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Earlier tomorrow. This could be like a little issue, but I don't think a big one,
Yeah.
because
I guess
actually,
that happens in every sport too, doesn't it? I mean, you think tennis, for instance, and some of the matches that go well into the early hours of the morning, and then they have to play
Yeah.
soon after that. So it's not unusual, I guess, across sports. We don't get a lot of it though. We're not normally penalised by that kind of thing in archery.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. You're right.
So let's talk about one of the favorites who we're all anticipating to go through, and that's Daraj Bomadevara from India. He was shooting against Eric Peters, not yesterday, but the day before, and it was such an intense match. Do you
Yeah.
remember there was one set where they both shot perfect 30s?
Yeah, I think it's the only set that was 30 against 30.
Yeah.
Wow, this was really amazing. I was in the public,
Yeah.
and to sit next to me, there were her fiancé, not Diraj, the Canadian
Eric's.
Eric's.
Yeah.
experiences. She was like really stressed and she was crying a lot. It was tense,
Yeah.
really tense. Yeah.
Was this the match where then Eric shot another 30 the next,
Yes.
and then a
To a
10 to
shoot-off.
win the
Yeah,
title?
at 10
yeah,
for the
tiebreak.
shoot-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty spectacular, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've known
Yeah.
Eric since he was much younger.
Yeah.
Much younger. And it's been really nice watching him grow up into this really strong athlete. He's almost like a dark horse. That's how I would describe him. And he won a silver medal in Berlin last year. His coach became a little infamous for being so animated.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not his coach, it's his sports psych, Joe Lesnar.
Okay.
And we saw that again in this match where when push came to shove, Eric really, stepped up, shot 30 and then another 30. And he had a 10 that was closer than Daraj's. But, it's unfortunate to lose such a strong contender because if anyone's going to beat, Mete, Kimujin, Thomas, and Marcus, I think one of the contenders is Daraj. So we lost him, but maybe Eric could do that. What do you think, Audrey?
Yeah, I think also. I actually, before World Championship, I didn't know Eric. And he shot brilliant score.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the fact that he's coach. So it's not a trainer, he's a psychologist.
Yeah, right now he's working with Ron, who previously coached the Dutch team.
Okay.
But now his sports psychologist is Joe Lesnar.
Okay.
It's a very strange dynamic, isn't it? Because while the psychologist is acting like a court jester, basically, like acting the fool, Eric's actually not. He's just looking very calm and casual and unaffected by it. And it's all for his benefit. And yet, outwardly, he's not showing any signs of interest in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
You're right.
I wonder if it's this internal energy that he has that he doesn't really show others, but Joe is kind of like an avenue through which he can get that energy out while he remains calm.
Or a refocusing, I guess, off the match onto Joe, maybe.
Yeah.
A distraction.
Yes.
A planned distraction, perhaps.
Yeah.
Cool strategy, actually.
It's an odd one.
And when he was younger, he was that great?
He always showed potential.
Okay.
But I've watched him grow into this mature young man. Whereas before, I think he was a lot more maybe heated in the moment. And with a loss, he would be quite devastated. But now he seems a lot more level-headed, which is really, really nice to see.
Really? Yeah. Be able to shot 7 10s in a row in Olympic Games.
Exactly.
When they were needed.
Yeah.
Not just randomly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When they were needed.
Against one of the favorites. In the first, one of the first times that he is shooting on this big stage.
I think that's been a feature of the shooters who are doing well that I've noticed, that they're not shooting 10-10-10 just randomly through the match or consistently through all of the matches.
Yeah.
They're doing them when they need them. Like it's the moment that the crux of the match where it's going to go one way or the other, and that's when they bring them out. And I think that's really impressive. And that it's not just one archer that's showing us that they can do that. There's all of the people who we're seeing as contenders. It's sort of like the new characteristic of this era of archery, that when they're needed under high pressure, that's when the great shooting turns up.
For example, yesterday match against the 2-hole.
Yeah. What did you think, Audrey, about that?
Really impressive. Really, really impressive. I was first thinking, wow, that's too bad to be one teammate against other. But they shot really a brilliant score. Really, really. It was really intense. A lot of 10, 10, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. They put their score in higher level.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you are shooting against a teammate, you're like, I think it's like there is two options. You are both
Better
shooting,
or worse?
Yeah, both like shooting 30 and 29, or both shooting like 25 and 26.
Yeah.
And they showed that kind of level until a big shoot off. So, phew, really huge match. Yeah.
They put on a show for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's some advantages to that because you're guaranteed one
That's
of
right,
your
yeah.
teammates is going to
You're
go
right.
through. You know, one guy is going to go through. And then you've also shot against your teammates so many times because you're competing against them really throughout the entire year to make the national team or at national competitions. So you're familiar with that person. But you're right, Audrey. It's very binary. It's either you're going to be shooting incredibly or you're going to just kind of freak out a little bit. And
Yeah. And
really
it's also the tricky part of archery that 2 days ago you are teammates for team
Oh, yes.
team event,
Yeah.
and 2 days after you are like switch to individual, and now you are my opponent. You are not. You are still my friend, but you are my opponent. You are not my teammate.
Quite
And
confusing.
yeah. In archery, this kind of feeling is weird sometimes.
Yeah.
So what happens when your teammate beats you and now your teammate has more matches?
They're off the Christmas card list, for sure. At least for this Christmas.
It's quite difficult because you could have been in their position.
Yeah.
You could have been shooting these matches. You could be one step closer to the medals.
I think there is like two feeling. If it's close friend, it's like, oh fuck, first time, like, oh, I'm so sad. You
This
know?
is live, Audrey.
Ah, sorry.
It's okay. That means something in French. It's something that was a French word.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
French word. Actually, it's an animal in French.
Nice.
I forget.
It's all good.
Okay, like, oh no, I'm so sad. Okay, not to be in the competition.
Yeah.
But after, maybe you process and you think, that's cool for my country. Yeah, maybe there is like patriotic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Depending on the dynamic of the team as to whether it fragments further or it is more support and genuine goodwill and support and happiness.
Yeah, for sure. So Deepika is one of the females on the top of my list for so many reasons. First of all, I've known her for probably close to 15 years. I just saw a photo of her way back, probably like 2009, something like that. She looked like a baby. But I remember when she came onto the scene, she was a big contender right away. And she told me that the first time we had met, she had only been shooting for 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So imagine picking up a bow 2 years prior, going to a World Cup Antalya, and being a major contender for winning. Just speaks to how naturally talented she really was from the start. She's had such a journey. You know, she got married to a teammate, so adorable,
Yeah.
had a baby, took some time off, and now she's back. So as soon as I said, Deepika, your face lit up. What does that ignite inside of you when you hear about her?
I'm like big fan of Deepika. I am fan of two archers.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's like Deepika Kumari and Lisa Unruh. They are both
Yes.
really high level. Lisa because of Olympic medals, but also because she's strong in everywhere, like in indoor, in field,
Yes.
and great human being.
Yeah.
And Deepika Kumari because of her history, and because also my dad was born in India, so I'm like, wow, Team India, they're so cool and they're really talented.
Yeah.
So Deepika, she became like world champion after 3 years of practice.
Gosh.
And me, after 3 years of practice, I shot at 30 meters, I think. Like, and I was, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And she's also a model because she become a mom with her with Dasatanu.
Yes.
Yeah. And she came back in archery team, and now she's here. Yesterday, she almost failed,
Yeah.
but
Went to shoot off, right?
yeah. She had struggled with it match, but she win, so that's great.
So that's in the past now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
onwards,
can.
yeah.
But it was a really difficult match for her. And actually, I want to talk about. It was an Estonian girl, the girl against her. I can't remember her name, but it's a girl. She's always here in
Rina.
Olympia. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she did a really, really great job, because when you know you are against Deepika Kumari, it's like, whoa, big match now. Really big match. And she shot a really high level score. So I was happy for this girl to be able to do that. But I think, Deepika, I'm like big fan. And so I was really happy that she passed through that.
So, I mean, when you're shooting against someone who has that, history, the stature of Deepika Kumari, is that an advantage? Like, we see a lot of archers stepping up their game, right? Or is that a disadvantage where you're like, maybe you've already lost before the match has even started?
It depends a little bit on the person and whether they are, how aware they are of the history. If they're very new and they're on the up and up, I think they don't really care. Like, everybody has history as far as you're concerned at that stage. But if you've been someone who has, is maybe not at the same level as Deepika, but you've been around for a while and you're very hyper aware of her history and her ability and so on, then I think it's a hurdle, for sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of media pressure always for Indian archers. Yeah. There is quite a bit of criticism. Do you think they're aware of that right now?
Yeah. Did you saw the Ladies First on Netflix?
Yes. Love it.
I didn't know if you see it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
And it was really impressive because, we saw the media pressure. Like, we don't have any Olympic medals in archery. You can be the one. And so she had to stop because she started to cry when she started to talk about that. I think it was for London or for Rio that she was like. Really, there was big expectations on her, and she didn't make it, and she was talking and she said, no, I can't, and she go out of the room.
Never mind all of the other obstacles that were in that were outlined in that movie or that documentary that they've got to deal with. I wonder if since that documentary aired, whether there's been any efforts to address some of the issues, or whether they don't care. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? She was world number 1 when she arrived in Rio and Tokyo. And I asked her, actually, here on the practice range, I was like, have you ever seen that documentary? Because it was really, really well done. She said no.
She didn't see? No.
She's like, I can't watch myself.
Okay. I understand.
We understand that, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but she has this warmth about her, I find. At one point, she could be incredibly just kind and genuine. She steps on that line. She's like a tiger.
Yeah.
Her
but
eyes.
But also really smooth. I was always really impressed by how smooth her shoot is. It's long sometimes, but at the end, she had like that face normal and really smooth here. When sometimes you can see pressure.
Exactly.
And
she always hits her leg, doesn't it? That's how I used to shoot, and I really like that because it's very consistent. You know right away, and you know that it's the same every single time. Because if you don't touch your leg, it could be, a couple inches this way, it could be a couple inches this way, or a couple feet. So I really like her technique, and it's quite unconventional, too, when she's at full draw, isn't it? Like, I find that a lot of archers have the chest open a little bit more.
Yeah.
Deepika looks like there's more going on here.
Yes, maybe you're right. Yeah, I didn't notice that, but maybe you're right, yeah.
But it works for her. Yeah. So the brackets are filling up.
I don't know if her brackets is it's either only other really high-level athlete.
Can you
I don't have the right
at
paperwork. This is just yesterday's.
Gotcha.
List,
so maybe if we think about yesterday, there was a British girl, Megan, 16 years old. She shot a brilliant X at the shoot-off against Amélie. Wow, Amélie, I was really happy for her because it was kind of difficult for her, the team event. She had some difficulties to go in the match and to shot at higher level. But in individual part yesterday, she shot a lot of 29, 28. The shoot-off, it's like 9.99999 for first Olympics.
Was that another big crowd match? Like,
It was less crowded match, I
Okay.
think, than Lisa, but public was really great for Jean-Charles and Amélie. You know,
Yeah.
between sets there was Jean-Charles, ta ta ta, Jean-Charles,
Yeah.
and Amélie, ta ta ta.
okay.
These names are perfect for cheers.
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Specially designed. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
So actually, I'm remembering against Deepika next is Michelle Cropin.
Ah, that'll be a good match.
Strong archer. And if she beats her, you know, whoever wins that match, likely Nam Soo-hyun from Korea, the young one.
Okay.
So it's not easy. We're at the Olympics.
Mm.
There's
No, yeah.
easy
Yeah.
bracket now. But
You're right.
it's interesting to see that they're filling up now, and we're starting to, you know, get a better picture of who might stand on top of the podium.
Mm-mm.
It's
And
exciting
so
stuff.
we lost Jean-Charles yesterday from the
Yeah.
list,
Yeah.
and also Marie Harachkova.
Ooh, reigning world champion.
Yeah, that's right. So that's it. I mean, it's a lot of pressure to bring into an Olympics, isn't it? You've just won the World Championships, and perhaps winning it from a position where you were not identified prior as this is the person who's going to win World Championships. I wonder how she felt coming into the games, whether it was, you know, a very short period of time to deal with that new expectation of, okay, now I'm world champion. I need to perform at a level that is befitting world champion.
Yeah.
I had the same experience in '92 in going into Barcelona.
Okay.
And you know, I wasn't expected to win the '91 world champs, and it set me up for my worst Olympics ever. Like, Barcelona was awful for me, and it was totally that. You know, all the media said, you know, this is a certainty of a medal here and all that kind of stuff, and it was excruciating. And then to lose first round for me there, it took until Sydney to get over it, really. So I wonder whether there was an element of that happening for Marie, and you know, I feel for her if it was, because it's not a good place to be.
Yeah, you're right. And it was also...
She didn't look comfortable, like,
Yeah, maybe
like
not...
shaking and...
Yeah, you're right. And also because she was so strong in the World Championship last year. It was like 360.
Yeah, that was a great display of
Like,
shooting.
and 29.
And yesterday
10 after
didn't look
10.
the same.
She was really, really brilliant.
She looked composed in terms of doing all the right things,
Yeah.
taking her time, not rushing, but there was just, you know, some tremors going on that
Okay.
said to me that she was uncomfortable.
Yeah, maybe. And it was a difficult season for her this year. Maybe it was a lot of expectation. I didn't talk about that with her. Maybe I could, but it's maybe hard for her. It was really important because it opened a lot of doors.
Yes.
Window, can I say that? Yeah. In French we say that, but I didn't know if in English.
No,
Okay.
that was
So
perfect.
it opened a lot of doors with media and communication.
Yeah, and I know
She
she's
had
been
the
working hard with that.
sponsorship. She still trained hard and hard and hard. But actually, this year she didn't make any medals in individual. So maybe it was like, okay, I have to go, but difficult one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's almost like you set your own precedents and expectations for yourself. So if you shoot so well like that, it's almost like you have to, it's really tough filling your own shoes, isn't it?
Yes, you're right.
Of course, you want to win the world championships. And in the fashion that she did, oh my gosh, incredible.
Yes.
But then how do you outlive that? How do you be yourself? It's tough, for sure. Yeah, there's so much going on. And I just heard that Matias Grande, one of the favorites from Mexico, he just beat his opponent from Mongolia 7-1.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Yes, because now they started the match. Yeah, okay. Nice. I'm happy for Matthias.
For sure.
So lots of big names today. We've got Pittman, Ellison, Valencia, Unruh, Koffolt, Weiler, and of course Lim, all in today's shooting.
And also Addis.
Yes.
And also
one of my
Lopez.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right.
a lot of big names today.
Yeah.
Perhaps more in today's than any of the other days.
Can we talk about Baptiste Addis for a second? Because I was there when the teams came in. I don't know if I've ever experienced this, but he walked in and there was this aura about him, this presence. It was almost like time slowed down. And maybe it is because he is so handsome as well. He walked in and I was sitting there going, he's going to win an Olympic medal. And he did that day. But I also felt like he was going to do it individually. I'm really excited to see what he does.
Yeah, and me too.
Yeah.
He, all team from there, they trained a lot. Like before Mr. O and all of that, we trained like 300, 300, it's 100 now. Yeah, 300 arrows per day. And now they are most likely to shoot 500 or 600 a day.
Wow.
For more than 1 year, every day. Well, not Saturday, Sunday, but like sometimes they have to go back during the night and to shoot again.
Wow.
Just to get the numbers up.
Yeah, because they shoot that high level number of arrow, but they still doing team match. But in team match, you just shoot like 12 arrows. So if you want to continue, you have to go back and shooting and again. But like really constancy and really focus. They develop a lot of mental game and also physical game. And I was really happy for guys. And and Baptiste, she's like this young guy, really talent, with a lot of talent. And but he also work hard, really, really hard. Sometimes he can be really angry about himself because it just dropped nines, and he's like, no, I just have to do tens, and he put a lot of pressure on him. But it's also, there is like many Baptiste, the really professional guy, but also the kid, because she's only 17. And he started in senior at 16, and it was like this young kid just wanted to take picture with Kimujin and Metekazos because he's a huge fan. And sometimes she's like, whoa, blah 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 blah, and boys are like, okay, Baptiste, calm down now.
But on the shooting line, completely
he transformed other Baptiste. And I like the fact that he's raw. You say, wow, like that. To Mr. Holt tell us that when you are doing that, that's good to exteriorize.
Like let it all out. It reminds me of Kim Jae-dok.
Like the stress, it goes out. Like, wow, go out the stress. And also energize your body. So
I just heard that Jorge Enriquez from Colombia won his match and is moving on. Simon, you've been to 5 Olympics, so I can only imagine there's been a lot of growth during that time. So just like Baptiste Addis, how would you describe your own journey from Seoul 1988 to Athens 2004?
Well, certainly that first Olympics, I was still a kid, 18, but a young 18, I think, and I was very much in that mindset of, it's the beginning of everything, and I'm just here for experience, and I hope I'll do well, but it's not important. But then things rapidly changed between then and the next Olympics, because I won a World Championships, and that changed, as I said before, my mentality entirely. And then then the third one, I was at university, and I had sort of dropped out for a year, or deferred for a year, to be focusing on shooting again. But wasn't fully committed, I think, because I was split with, I've just come back from university, and we didn't have a program, so I was just training on my own. In hindsight, I can see why that was not a successful campaign as well. So it wasn't focused properly, And then Sydney, that was when we'd done so much work in a short amount of time, really, but to be much more focused, much more prepared, and the difference between the previous one in Atlanta and Sydney was chalk and cheese. And then I guess at the last Olympics in Athens, I guess I'd come past that really well-focused period and sort of understood what was necessary, but also knew once again how how much work we'd done for Sydney and knew perhaps that the work wasn't done again. You know, that I was not coasting, but not in that sweet spot. Like, and perhaps was a bit more willing to accept, perhaps to my detriment, that things might not go as well as Sydney. And we had fickle winds and things like that, and it fell apart pretty quickly. So it highlights to me, I guess, how well prepared you need to be seriously contending for medals. Like, it's all very well to say, I mean, many of the people I've known over the years have had the feeling that you win because you get lucky. You win because it's your day. Everybody has their day one day. You just have to hope that if you turn up often enough, it might be your day this time or your day this time. And I don't think that's true. I think to be seriously a contender for an Olympic gold medal, everything has to have been done. And you have to know that you've done the work, so that inside you feel, okay, I deserve to have the chance this time. Without in the back of your mind saying, I've done a lot of work and I'm hopeful and, you know, my dreams and blah, 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 but I know there's somebody here who's done more work than me, and so do I deserve it? I hope so, but you need to believe it. You need to say, I've done everything all of you have done, and now it's down to perhaps who handles the last 5 minutes properly and some luck, but that you at least deserve it if you do have the luck.
Seems like there's a real big theme today for this episode, and it's all about this journey about an archer. We talked about Deepika and this journey she's taken and how life has impacted some of her career, but she's back. We talking about Baptiste Addis, who's really in this beginning of his journey. And I'd love to see his growth over the years. Talked about your experiences, Simon. There's also Kim Woo-jin, who I've seen grow up from this like 16-year-old kid who was, you know, had more of an ego. Now he's a leader. We've talked about Mete too in previous episodes, and there's also Brady, who the entire world has seen grow up.
Yeah.
I still think he's a dark horse for this.
Yeah.
You know, the media hasn't. I mean, because he hasn't had his best season coming into the games, but he's close still, and you know, I think the preparation's probably been pretty reasonable, and he's got the experience and the headspace, so you know, he's just out of the media limelight enough that there's some freedom for him.
Yes,
to,
maybe, yeah.
You know,
well said,
not be distracted as much. So.
Yes, you're right.
It's possible.
And also, it's always written here, Buddy Addison. When you are against him, you know him. Yeah. Even if you didn't shot against him this season.
He's not going to give you a match. You have to beat him.
It's like the guy.
True.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a big day.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting that these brackets are filling up. Someone here is going to be Olympic champion.
Yeah.
That's the one certainty, isn't it? At the end of the week, we will have 2 new Olympic champions.
Yep. So, maybe not you, though.
Maybe
me. Not us, Audrey, unfortunately.
No.
But someone in those brackets.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. You're right. And also today, big day, because there is, again, 2 French members, Baptiste and Caroline. So
let's go.
I'm hoping they will do the best.
Well, to everybody at home, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you will not be Olympic champion at this Paris Olympic Games. I am so sorry. But I can guarantee one thing. We will be back tomorrow for yet another episode with my lovely guests. And that's all I have to say. We'll see you tomorrow.